This meeting of the Delaware County Libraries Board of Directors to order. The first item on the agenda is public comments on agenda items. Does anybody in the audience have any public comment? Okay. So the next item are the minutes from August 15th. Those minutes were distributed electronically to the board. Does anybody have any comments or questions or corrections? And if not, can I get a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, communications and announcements. Kristen.
Good evening. First, we have a library card sign up month wrap up. Thank you to all the libraries who participated in library card sign up month activities. The DCL headquarters staff held pop-up library and card registration events at 3 county locations: Fair Acres, Baldwin Towers, and the Government Center, and had a wonderful turnout at each. We estimate that there were 25 new library cards issued and around 50 accounts that were renewed. Any questions? Okay. Secondly, the Pennsylvania Library Association Annual Conference wrap-up. Delco libraries were well represented at the Pennsylvania Library Association Annual Conference in Harrisburg earlier this month. Several staff from across the county presented workshops and poster sessions and volunteered with the conference planning committee. DCL headquarters staff Jason Bram, Teresa Dykes, and myself, as well as Carrie Sturgill from Radnor Library and Richard Ashby from Sharon Hill Library, presented sessions. Bridget Crockett of Marple and Mary Bear Shannon and Celia Adams of Haverford Libraries presented poster sessions. Jennifer Stock of the Upper Darby Library is also chair of the Public Library Division and helped to organize the Public Library Division lunch. And Annie Lepley is on the planning committee. Congratulations to everyone who was selected to participate and show off the amazing things Delco libraries are doing. Next is interviewing and hiring best practices workshop on October 30th. DCL is hosting an interviewing and hiring best practice workshop on October 30th at the Marple Public Library. Charnay Washington, Assistant Director of Talent Management for Delaware County, will lead the program. Any staff involved in the hiring process are encouraged to register and attend. To sign up for the workshop, visit the staff LibCal on the staff page. Any question?
So is that for staff only?
Yes, staff only. Lastly, there's the trustee training, which is November 19th. Registration is now open for the 2024 trustee training called Easy Advocacy All Year Long and will be presented on Tuesday, November 19th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Christy Bucher, registered lobbyist and executive director of the PA Library Association, will be the presenter. Both library boards and friends of the library boards are invited to attend. Please remember that each library must have 2 board members attend as a requirement to receive county aid funding in 2025, though more than 2 are welcome. Registration information was emailed to directors earlier this week. Please reach out to your director if you would like the link.
I did get the email, but what's the time on that?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. Oh, 7 p.m. Okay.
And out of curiosity, how are trustee training topics identified? Do the library boards or staff provide suggestions?
Depending on the year, we've done surveys, we've done just discussions at the library directors meetings. This year, through the stakeholder discussions that we've had, advocacy training came up in every group. So that's how it was identified for this year as a good topic.
That's great.
Okay, thank you, Kristen. Financial report. So the September 2024 financial report was distributed electronically. Does anybody have any comments or questions about it? And if not, I'd like a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Administrators report. Annie?
Yes, the first item is introducing our new deputy director and district consultant. So I'd like to invite her up. I am thrilled to introduce you all, believe me, thrilled to introduce you to Kathleen Arthur, our new district consultant and deputy director. Kathleen is dedicated to connecting others to the knowledge and tools they need to live their best lives. She began her professional career as a secondary education teacher before shifting her focus to academic library work at DeSales University in the Lehigh Valley. While she was earning her MLIS at Pratt Institute, her interest in meeting the public's information and technology needs inspired her to pursue service in public libraries. She worked with the Morningside Heights community of Upper Manhattan in its New York Public Library branch location before returning to Pennsylvania to accept a position at Lebanon County Libraries as their district consultant, and now is here in Delco. So please join me in welcoming Kit. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to do anything this meeting, so you'll look forward to hearing more from her next meeting. Thanks, Kit.
Well, welcome.
Yes, and this is day 4 for her. So, yeah,
We made it nice and cold for you.
right. I'll move right along to member library audits and financial reviews. Just a quick reminder that each library does need to submit their audit or financial review for 2023 prior to receiving a state aid distribution in 2025. So state aid is typically received by our office in February and then distributed to the libraries as soon as possible thereafter. So libraries are encouraged to submit their audit or financial review as soon as it has been completed and approved. I have received a good number of them, but we do still have many libraries with that outstanding. That's not atypical, but just a reminder.
So what would the last date be?
We don't have a set date. It's just before we distribute the state aid.
Okay.
Are we providing assistance to any member libraries who may need help getting their audit done and completed and submitted?
As much as we can, there's limited things that we really can do. But as far as I know, all of the libraries have been able to secure an auditor and are in process.
So we won't have the issue that we did.
Hopefully not. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, I'll move on. Plan for use of state aid. Each year, all state aided libraries are required to submit a plan for state aid to the Office of Commonwealth Libraries. It's a very basic overview of how the library plans to use their state aid. Doesn't go into any significant detail. This year's plan is due to be locked for review no later than next Wednesday, October 23rd at 4:30 p.m. Many libraries have already completed their plan, and but there are still some in progress. And we actually just this afternoon started receiving some approvals from the Office of Commonwealth Libraries. They're doing rolling reviews. So that is all in progress.
Do you think that there's any libraries that may not make that deadline?
I don't foresee it being an issue. Most of them have at least started looking at it, and it's a pretty short and quick form that they complete. Moving on to the plan for county coordination aid. The DCL headquarters is designated to receive county coordination aid as part of our state aid. We call it CCA. So the CCA funds are statutorily required to be expended on services and resources that improve and extend services and have county-wide benefits. The funds may be used for library services and administration, resources and collections, technology, personnel, and services to children, adults, and special populations. So a pretty broad use. So the 24-25 year, we are allocated $189,544 in CCA funds. Those funds are planned to be used towards the purchase of digital content for Libby, technology, including supporting the network and email service and the circulation system and the Delco Reads app. And funds will also be allocated to supporting youth programming that includes continuing the reimbursement for summer kickoff events, the 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten program, and outreach to Head Starts and preschools. The draft plan was shared with member libraries for review and will be submitted to OCL before their deadline, which is October 30th. In years past, some folks may remember that there was a acknowledgement form that libraries had to sign. For the second year, that is no longer happening. So the library directors are just asked to review and raise any questions or concerns, but there's no action that needs to be taken by the member libraries.
So I'm pretty confident the state aid comes from the state.
Yeah.
Does the county coordination aid come from the state or from county council?
It comes from the state. It is
Okay. It's part of-
a part of
Subset of
state
state
aid.
aid.
Yes, exactly. So we have county coordination aid and then what we call county aid, which is the county money that we distribute to many member libraries. So yeah, it's definitely a little confusing sometimes. All right. Microsoft licensing. This is just a quick update for you all. For well over a decade, we were able to purchase Microsoft licensing at a very discounted rate as an educational institution through actually the Lebanon Lancaster Intermediate Unit. These are the licenses that we provided for all of the administrative and public access computers, servers on the network, those types of things. Unfortunately, earlier this year, Microsoft decided public libraries were no longer eligible for educational institution discounts. And so libraries all across the country had to figure out an alternative. So we worked with our IT folks, the CIO here of Delaware County, to find some other licensing options. It was a really challenging process because not many vendors were able to help us, but we were eventually able to get 4 quotes. They ranged from $103,000 up to $320,000. But I'm happy to report that we have gotten it all worked out, and at council's meeting last night, they did approve moving forward with a company called Computer Solutions East to purchase the required licensing, and it is that low end $103,000 or $103,730. There we go.
And it's still Microsoft products.
Right, exactly. And the important thing to note about this is that in the past, we had an annual payment, but this new licensing structure is just a one-time fee. So then down the road, in a few years, when we need to upgrade, then that will be an expense that is requested as part of the county's capital improvement plan. So for this year, we sort of had to find those funds, but moving forward, it would be a capital request and won't come up for a few years.
So is it significantly more expensive than when we could get it as an education?
Yes, we were paying $7,500 a year. Yes, yeah. So, a huge change. And I, had talked to counterparts across Pennsylvania and even the state librarian, and the Association of the 50 state librarians had been working on trying to address it. Like it was a huge issue across the country. Yeah. But we're glad to have it settled. So, that's all I have.
So the next item is committee reports, and the board does not have any active committees, so nothing to chat about there. New business, Annie, do you want to talk about the schedule for next year?
Yes, included in the packet that was emailed to the board and shared with libraries in advance is a proposed meeting schedule for 2025. It continues as we have been with the third Thursday of the even months here at the Government Center. So with the first meeting in February of 25, continuing with the 6:30 PM time. And the only thing that I will note is that the June meeting would have fallen on Juneteenth. So I did propose moving that meeting to June 26th. So I think if.
Yeah, I need a motion to approve.
To approve that.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, old business, the system-wide evaluation stakeholder groups and task force. Annie?
Just a very brief update because we are essentially between meetings for most of our groups. Our group number 4 did have its second meeting earlier in the month, and our other groups are in the process of scheduling their next meeting. So I just want to again thank everybody for your thoughtful participation in the conversations, and I know I'm looking forward to the second meeting for the rest of our groups, and just digging more into that report. So that's all to report there.
Very good. Okay, so the last item on the agenda is our public comments. If anybody has any public comments, and it doesn't have to be limited to items on the agenda. So does anybody have anything they'd like to say? Nope. Okay. Seeing that there are no public comments, I would like a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion is adjourned. I mean, the meeting is adjourned. Have a
Folks,
nice,
if you didn't sign in, make sure you do before you leave.
have a nice evening,
Thank
everybody.
you.